Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. Welcome to Extra Crispy. For today's video, we got a video by my dude Hoops Reference titled Exposing the Biggest Lies About Elite NBA Players. So the prime example I got for you is people saying that Kobe does not pass the basketball, guys. Kobe Bryant, for his career, averaged like 4.7 assists. So we're just going to round that bitch ass thing up into 5 assists per game. You're going to tell me a guy that averages 5 assists does not pass the ball? Like, yes, he took some crazy ass shots, but when you got Smush Parker, you know, and Kwame Brown on the front lines, I would be too, man. I'd be shooting that shit over my head and things like that, man, before I ever pass the Kwame Brown. So yes, link to Hoops channel in the description below. Let's go ahead and hop into this. If you guys want to give me your biggest, lie in the comment section below, they say about certain NBA players, let me know, current or past. Here we go. Also, hit that like button, man. Hit the subscribe button, bro. I want to get my channel 1 million. Like, that's my goal. So you guys can help me do that, man, by doing those things. Thank you all so much. Here we go. Hoops Reference. Make some of the best content here on YouTube, guys. Very consistent, too.
Certain NBA players and their games, narratives surrounding their names tend to circulate heavily, whether they're
like
true
LeBron
or not.
fell off last year.
1 or 2 examples supporting
good numbers
something
MVP
negative
season
about a player may weigh
bullshit,
heavily
man.
in
Even
people's
say that.
minds when, in the grand scheme of things, said thing about that player may not be true at all. These myths result in a ton of fake narratives following the players all throughout their careers, which is what I'm here
expecting
today
to see
clear
analytics
up. For today's video,
and
we're
charts.
going to be taking a look at several top players in the league today and exposing why popular narratives about them are actually not true at all.
But I'm just gonna say straight up, God, I can't talk. I guess what I was about to say can't even be said, because I was going to talk about James Harden flopping, but I guess if you mention it anyway, I don't know, man. It's just like the 2K gods out there, the b-ball gods, just like, hell no, man, you're going to mention that shit.
Making them myths. Hearing these things said on a regular basis by national television analysts, reporters, and even fans on social media can be so tiring and frustrating, and it needs to stop. Before we get started, though, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, as all support is very much appreciated.
That it is.
Now, with that being said,
always helps, guys.
The first player we're going to take a closer look at.
James Harden has gotten better at defense. I will get. A few years ago, he was not a good defender. But, maybe there's an argument that he was. But a few years ago, James Harden was not a good defender. Now, I think he's better.
That is James Harden of the Houston Rockets, and specifically, the myth that he plays no defense, or even that he's an awful defender.
Okay.
This myth began about 5 years ago, when a compilation on YouTube went viral, showing him falling asleep on defense on several occasions, allowing his man to blow by him for easy baskets. Now, by no means am I defending the clips that were shown.
That's actually a good nickname. The Sandman. Nobody really mentioned that, but I'm just saying now. The Sandman, because the Sandman, puts you to sleep, and he puts you to sleep with his dribble move. That's a good nickname. Has anybody called that yet?
Because they were definitely examples
the Sandman.
of bad
I like
defense. But you don't judge players based on the few mistakes they make over an entire season. You judge them based on how they perform for the entirety of a game through all 4 quarters and throughout the entirety of an 82-game season.
Sure.
The fact of the matter is that there's a very good chance that you can make a similar compilation of any NBA player making several mistakes on defense, because the truth is that every NBA player messes up or gets tired every now and then.
That's a good
now,
point.
To show you why this is a myth about Harden, let's take a look at some season-long statistics and analytics that measure certain aspects of defense.
About to go grab my aspirin, man. That's the numbers and stuff like that. It just, man, freaking takes me over and give me a bad headache, but I'll be okay. I'll suffer through it for you guys.
For starters, thanks to Synergy, who measure how players rank in terms of their percentile.
That sounds like some Fallout shit right there.
Harden ranks in the 74th percentile in isolation defense, which doesn't put him in elite company by any means, but it does mean that he's better in this regard than 74% of the league, which is at minimum above average.
That's fine,
Plus,
yeah, okay,
the area
sure.
where he really excels is post defense, where he ranked in the 89th.
Cause he's kind of a thick boy, and he got that beard too, man. It's hard to post, like other guards posting up James Harden ain't gonna happen too often, man.
Percentile. For a guard, you may not think this is significant, but the Rockets run a ton of small ball lineups, and they switch a ton, so Harden actually does find himself defending big men very often on a game-to-game basis. The fact that he ranks near the top of the league in this category has helped the Rockets implement the type of switching play style they've wanted to run, and if he wasn't able to do this, then the team as a whole would probably struggle. Throwing in the fact
Look at that dude's freaking legs, man. Freaking all trembling out there.
Season,
look at that.
Harden actually averaged
What's he doing?
most deflections on defense per game in the whole league, and ranked second.
Oh man, that's Stanley Johnson 2.0 right there, guys. That's what y'all can expect out of him this season on defense.
In steals per game, the idea that people actually believe he's a bad defender is just silly and honestly incorrect. Moving on now to the next myth. This one is regarding LeBron James of the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah, to say LeBron's not clutch, basically how you get deemed not clutch to standards these days is if you don't make 100% of your clutch shots. That's how it is. Like, if you miss one, LeBron haters are going to hold that against him for his entire career, man. That's just how it is.
In terms of his entire career.
Just how it is.
And it's the idea that he isn't clutch. This myth originated from well-known LeBron hater Skip Bayless, and fans of other all-time greats such as Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant have run with it still to this day. This one is silly for several reasons, but the most obvious thing that
he also
this
was
is
passive
the fact that he's
early
hit
in his
countless
career.
Game winners.
Earlier.
Like, throughout the course of his entire career, he's hit so many game winners and buzzer beaters that just make this statement sound ignorant. Yet still to this day, the notion gets repeated by countless people. LeBron has hit so many clutch shots that he actually holds the record for most game-winning shots in NBA playoff history.
There you go.
Think about that for a second. LeBron James has hit more game-winning shots in the playoffs.
My favorite one probably have to be the one over Hito Turkoglu where he banked it. He did like a little like step back floater thing. I don't know, it was weird, but he banked it. It was pretty cool. Pretty unorthodox too.
Than any other player that has ever stepped foot in the NBA. Yet people still have the audacity to say he's not a clutch player, or that he doesn't have the it factor that other greats have to take over a game. Even comparing him to two guys that are universally seen as very clutch, Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, when shooting either a game-tying or go-ahead shot in the last 10 seconds of a playoff game, LeBron shoots 12 of 23, Jordan shoots 7 of 15.
Get that shit out of here!
Kobe
Boom!
shoots
Okay,
5
my
of
bad.
22.
My bad. Get that shit out of here!
The numbers honestly speak for themselves, and disputing that basically just comes down to ignorance. Now, there definitely have been times when LeBron may have passed up a shot at the end of a close game, but the kind of player that LeBron is that he's always looking to make the right play, and sometimes if a teammate has a better look at a shot, he's going to pass it to them.
And that's what deemed him is passive and not clutch, is that sometimes he does choose to make that, instead of forcing it over two guys, he will make the extra pass.
To do with him
which is
being
smart basketball.
Of the moment, and everything to do with the fact that he trusts his teammates
unless you pass to the Stanley Johnson
and doesn't want to force a bad shot just because he's expected to. The next myth that we're going to be debunking involves Russell Westbrook of the Houston Rockets, with the narrative being that he's a big-time stat padder. The origin of this one obviously comes from the fact that Westbrook has averaged a triple-double.
Yeah, wait till Steven Adams averages 20 rebounds per game this season. I'm just going to say that real quick.
Over the course of an entire season for 3 straight years now, and the ways in which he goes about securing his rebounds have been heavily scrutinized. Most people see what he's doing and think that he does this because he's obsessed with his own numbers and is, to an extent, pretty selfish. The way the Thunder often set themselves up over the last few years in order to help Westbrook accomplish these kind of numbers is that the big men near the basket would seemingly work hard to box out the other bigs from going for rebounds, but not necessarily attempting to grab the rebounds themselves, allowing Westbrook to chase the rebound down himself. To the naked eye, yes, this does seem pretty strange and numbers obsessed, but the Thunder actually had a very valid reason for doing this. And it actually put not only Russ, but the entire team at its best when this happened. Allowing Westbrook to grab the rebound allows him to instantly push the pace, putting pressure on the defense immediately, and creating some easy baskets in transition. Westbrook's combination of top-tier speed and insane athleticism makes him extremely difficult to stop out in open space, and by allowing him to grab the rebounds, it opens up more of these opportunities.
like, I get that. I get that. But isn't it still stat padding for the sake of the game? You know what I'm saying? Like, it does take away from the stat padding message that we think Russell Westbrook has. But by saying that he's going to grab the rebounds for that reason, it's stat padding within itself, you know, in a sense. I don't know, like, that's, I've never really heard that before. Just that like teams like will let certain dudes do certain things for that reason. It definitely adds like a different aspect to the discussion, though. I definitely give you that, definitely.
Each game. Sure, to some extent, he is boosting his rebounding numbers.
Sure,
but
yeah,
the reasoning
exactly.
for why it happened was actually to help the team, because the Thunder benefited greatly from these possessions, and the numbers back that up. Moving on now to the next myth. This one involves Ben Simmons of the Philadelphia 76ers, with the narrative being that because he doesn't shoot jump shots, he holds the team back. And
I do think that's true.
Adds on to this is that many people think that he doesn't fit with Joel Embiid because of it. This take is
it's not that he doesn't fit. I would say it's that he could fit better. I mean, he could. If Ben Simmons can't play on the outside, and teams are going out there and even just like to a microorganism, oxygen, I don't know, man. Just kind of playing defense on Joel just a little smidge more. That would make it, you know, like that's not as good a fit. Where if he can shoot the 3-ball, it keeps teams honest, and therefore, you know, Joel Embiid would have more one-on-one situations. But
incredibly lazy for many obvious reasons as well, but to start off, Ben Simmons is an all-star and a top 5 player at his position already. Yep. Looking into the numbers that measure how the team performs in certain scenarios.
Top 7.
Overall, the 76ers as a team had a net rating of 2.6 last year, meaning they outscored opponents by an average of 2.6 points per 100 possessions. When Simmons and Embiid shared the court, they had a net rating of 7.6, meaning the team basically outscored opponents.
Well, that's just because Ben Simmons is a good player, though. Like, I don't know if anybody is out there saying that Ben Simmons is a bad player, but it's like, okay, well, they got that 7.6. If Simmons were to add a consistent jumper, you would see that number potentially probably go up. And but I don't know.
By triple the amount of points.
Like, he's still a great player, despite his jump shot
There have
flaws.
been countless articles and stories where people have said that both Simmons and Embiid would be better off separated from one another, but the fact of the matter is that the team is actually at its very best when they share the court.
See, but the way to like really measure that too, which you can't really do it like in a realistic way without trading away Ben Simmons, but it's like, okay, if you were like, let's say that Ben Simmons is the 5th best point guard in the NBA, and let's say you got let's say Kemba Walker you got at 4th. Like, let's switch those two guys around, you know? Like, let's put Kemba with Joel Embiid, and then that's a way to see, you know, if that net rating goes up or not. Or even the 6th best point guard. I don't want to say who that is, man, because I'm not trying to do a point guard list this video, but you get what I'm saying? It's like you gotta take somebody that's like close in the same regard to Ben Simmons, skill-wise, that just has a different skill set, and see how he would play with Joel Embiid.
These are two generational young talents and will be pillars of the Sixers for years to come, and thinking they need to be broken up is just overthinking it. Up next, the final myth we'll be busting in today's video involves Steph Curry of the Golden State Warriors, being that he's seen by many as a choker in the NBA Finals.
Do people really say that?
This narrative comes from the fact that, despite the Warriors dominating the NBA for the last 5 years, he still has no Finals MVPs to
that's not a
name,
big deal.
and in a few games, he has admittedly not played very well. Now, being the superstar and all-time great player that he is, the fact that he has 3 rings without a single Finals MVP obviously isn't a great look. However, the rate at which Steph...
To me, it shows sacrifice. It shows that Steph Curry is able to take so much spotlight from other team defenders that other players can excel for that reason. You look at Andre Iguodala when he won his. I mean, that's because a lot of the teams out there, they're double teaming, Steph Curry, and Andre Iguodala's doing his thing out there, man. Of course, you got Kevin Durant playing with Steph Curry. It's like, if they're paying so much attention to Steph Curry, you already got double team Kevin Durant, but it's like you're picking or choosing out there. So yeah, I think it's just sacrifice for the greater good of the basketball team.
Has produced in the finals over the years is incredibly underrated, to the point where I don't think many fans actually realize some of the numbers that he's put up. In his NBA Finals career, Curry averages 26.4 points, 6 assists, 5.7 rebounds, and 1.5 steals per game.
Good numbers. Field goal percentage a little low.
42% from the field.
And that's what it is. It's the taking quite a bit of shots and not making them, to the consistent factor that we know that Steph Curry can do. I think that's, people focus so much on offense.
For comparison to a legend with multiple rings and finals MVPs, Kobe Bryant, Kobe averaged 25.3 points, 5.1 assists, 5.7 rebounds, 1.8 steals, and shot 41%.
Yeah, it was also not the most consistent at times.
Career. Now, with more context, I obviously don't believe that Curry is a better player in the finals than Kobe, but what I am saying is that the notion that Curry's a choker on the big stage is also not true. He may not produce at the same level as he does in prior rounds,
fatigue
or even
also,
in the regular season
after years of getting to the finals,
but he is still a very good player that helped lead one of the best dynasties ever. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today.
Okay, that is the end of the video there, guys. Very good video, man. Brought up a lot of good points there. I love videos like this where you are able to kind of have like an argument with like the video itself, because of course, you know, Hoops out here, man, is gonna be backing up his points and stuff like that, man. That's why I like to pause and talk about it a little bit. But yeah, I would say it was definitely some good topics out there. I definitely learned a few things, especially with the regards to Russell Westbrook. I do view that situation differently now. Like, I don't think of it just as him stat padding. I think of it as, well, okay, it's stat padding to an extent, but it's for the betterment of the team. So is it really that big of a deal then, guys? But anyway, hope you guys all enjoyed. Link to Hoops reference channel description below. Thank you all so much for watching, and peace out, my friends.